This person says, what do you think about Obama renaming Mount McKinley to Denali then, question mark, especially since you said the Secretary of Interior and President do not have the power to do so. I don't know that I ever said anything about the Secretary of Interior. I said the President doesn't have a power to do that. It was Mount McKinley that was renamed to Denali. Obama didn't do it. You're talking about two different things, and let me explain it to you. Can Trump just order new names for Denali and Gulf of Mexico? A geographer explains who decides what goes on the map. President Donald Trump's executive order to rename the Gulf of Mexico and Alaska's Denali, the tallest peak in the country, has resulted in lots of discussion. While for some, such renaming might seem less important than the big problems the country faces, there is a formal process in the United States for renaming places, and that process is taken seriously. Usually, so people don't get confused, official, agreed-upon names are used by the government. In the U.S., place names are standardized by the U.S. Board of Geographic Names, which is part of the U.S. Geological Survey, the agency in charge of making maps. In his executive order, Trump asks the Board on Geographic Names to honor the contributions of visionary and patriotic Americans and change its policies and procedures to reflect that. Usually, renaming a place starts locally. The people in the state or county propose a name change and gather support. The process in each state is different. Let's pause right there. Did you read how in his executive order, Trump asked the Board to do it? Because Trump doesn't have the fucking power to do it. He had to ask the Board to do it. He told his followers that he did it, but the Board had to do it. We go on. How to change a place name. Minnesota recently changed the name of a large lake in Minneapolis to, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. The Board voted to change the name and took its request to the county commissioner. When the county agreed, the request was then sent to the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, which made it official for Minnesota. Then the state of Minnesota sent the request to the Board of Geographic Names, which made it official for the entire U.S., because they're the people who do that. It's a lot of paperwork for something so seemingly minor, but people get passionate about place names. It took 40 years to rename Denali from the name established in the late 19th century, Mount McKinley. The state of Alaska requested the name change in 1975, but the Board of Geographic Names didn't take action. Let me repeat that. The state of Alaska doesn't want it called Mount McKinley. They want it called Denali. They've been trying to get it called Denali since 1975. The President appoints the Secretary of the Interior Department. The Secretary works with the heads of related agencies to appoint the Board of Geographic Names. Current committee policy states, input from state geographic names authorities, land management agencies, local governments, and tribal governments are actively pursued. In 2015, Barack Obama named a new leader for the Department of Interior, Sally Jewell. Just as Obama made a trip to Alaska in late August 2015, Jewell declared the name change official under a law that allows the Secretary of Interior to change the name if the Board doesn't act on the proposal. This name change recognizes the sacred status of Denali to many Alaska natives, Jewell said. The name Denali has been official for use by the state of Alaska since 1975, but even more importantly, the mountain has been known as Denali for generations. With our own sense of reverence for this place, we are officially renaming the mountain Denali in recognition of the traditions of Alaska natives and the strong support of the Alaska people. Just so that you're aware, Alaska's 2 U.S. senators and prominent state figures have strongly objected to Trump trying to rename it back to McKinley. Now, we move on to the Gulf of Mexico. Renaming the Gulf of Mexico is a different kind of case, however, from renaming a geographic place within the U.S. borders, and there's where you're seemingly disconnecting from reality. The Gulf of Mexico is not in the United States. Denali is. The Gulf is not within the territorial U.S. On the coast, the first 12 miles from the shore are considered part of that country, but outside of that, it is international waters. The Board on Geographic Names could change the name of Gulf of America on official U.S. maps, but there is no international board in charge of place names. Each country decides what to call places, and there is no official way for the U.S. to make other countries change the name. It is possible that the U.S. could formally ask for other countries to change the name or even impose sanctions against countries that do not comply, and I wouldn't put that past this sack of shit that's in office today. But that's as far as they can go. On January 24, 2025, the U.S. Department of Interior issued a statement on the name changes. That's who made the change, not the president. So, you're trying to compare an international body of water with a mountain within the United States. You're trying to compare a president who's lying to his people saying that he has the power to do it, when in his own executive order, he had to ask the board that does have the power to do it. Obama went through the proper channels to get it changed, and the people in Alaska, including the Republicans who are elected there, like the senators, don't want Trump to change it back to McKinley. Class dismissed.